Hi, this is Crystal with Girl Meets Kingdom, and we are going to kick off the Book of Deuteronomy series with chapter 1. And so, right now, we ended from the book of Numbers and we're entering the book of Deuteronomy. So, this is when the children of Israel were about to cross the Jordan and enter into the promised land. Before they enter into the promised land, Moses had to instill some principles in them and make sure they were humbled to remember what God had just delivered them from and what he had just took them through and what he is bringing them to. So that when they possess the land, they don't forget where they came from, and they don't forget that it wasn't by their own might or strength. It was by the Lord, their God. And also, most importantly, do not get into this promised land and make idols. So we're going to just touch on a few key verses, and I'm going to try to make all these videos 5 minutes or less. And so let's start in chapter 1. Verse 2, it details that this was only an 11-day journey. Verse 6, the Lord our God spoke to us at Horeb, saying, "You have stayed long enough on this mountain." Verse 8, look, I have set the land before you. Go in and take possession of the land which the Lord swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them and to their descendants after them. So right now, Moses made it clear right at the beginning that, look, this was only supposed to be an 11-day journey. And we all know that the children wandered for 40 years in the wilderness. And, that's pretty discouraging, because when I think about the promise or promises of God, I don't want to wander for 40 years. I don't want to wander for 4 years. I don't want to wander for 4 months. I want to get to the promise as quickly as possible. And so I use the book of Exodus and Leviticus and Numbers, honestly, to help keep me on track of what not to do, not to complain about why God hasn't done this, why I'm not supposed to make that promise an idol, why I'm supposed to wait patiently and know that the reason God has not brought me to this promise yet is because there's something in me that he needs to work out. And so it talks about that as we go into Deuteronomy, the purpose of taking them through the wilderness and why it took so long. And so when I look at, wow, this was only supposed to be an 11-day journey, but it took 40 years, it makes me think back on my life. What have I gone through, or what process was God trying to take me through that was only supposed to be an 11-day journey? Or it was only supposed to take a month, but it took a year. Or it was only supposed to take a week and it took a month. What area was I stubborn in? What did God have to do to me that required it to take so long? What area did I not submit to God? What areas in my life has God had to humble me in? And so when I look at, wow, they could have got there in 11 days, but they did not. And so if God would have said, you know what, you're not ready, I'm going to go ahead and let you all possess the land, they would not have been ready. They would have been defeated as soon as they stepped foot on the land. And so we have to understand why God takes us the route he takes us. And then verse 8, look, I have set the land before you. Go in and take possession of the land which the Lord swore. Now it's time to take possession of what the Lord has sworn to us. What promise are you ready to go in and take possession of? Are you ready? So before you step in, let's make sure you're ready. Let's recount what has happened with the children of Israel to make sure we do not do the same thing. All right. I'll be back next time. God bless.